Hey everybody, welcome to Karen's Kid Podcast, episode number 14.
Yeah.
I'm with my boy Jay Morrows here, and both your hosts, Jay Morrows and Dino.
What's up, everybody? Welcome.
I know, hey, sorry for the delay. We've been a few weeks out. It's all good. The 4th,
We've been busy.
holidays, eating, getting fat, doing the thing, getting drunk, working.
Amen.
How was your 4th, by the way?
Dude, I work most of the time. I've been pretty busy for the most part, but my pockets are fat.
That's great. Hey, by the way, cheers.
Cheers.
Try that. Tell me what you think of it. It's like very citrusy, but light, summery, cool.
Yeah.
Right? It's the St. George's vodka with it's a green chili vodka.
Yeah, it almost tastes like I feel like I should have a spoon with it.
Really? Oh, like it's like thick? It's not. What do you mean by that?
Not thick, but like I want to chew because there's like that little spice in it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Man, something's wrong with these headphones, but it's whatever. I can't really hear myself.
What
I can hear you're like way louder, but it's all good.
Am I?
Fuck it. It's all good.
Oh, how about...
Sorry, folks, while we figure this out. Yeah, I guess that's a little better. You know how many emails and phone calls I got because we didn't post something for the last 2 weeks?
Really?
Probably like 6,000 emails. I had to check it. Maybe about 400 phone calls. Seriously, I think like 2 people killed themselves. Wow. Because we didn't we're sorry. We'll try to be more consistent.
All right. Look, for the 2 people who lost their life, I'm a poor little drink out.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace. Who was it? Juki and who?
2 chicks.
Oh, all right.
They liked you a lot. And they were like, fucking, if you're not gonna keep posting, I'm gonna. It's like as a revolt, they'd kill themselves. So.
Well, rest in peace to who? What were their names? Tuki and
Tiffany.
Tiffany, rest in peace.
And shout out to our biggest fan, Dennis. Dennis might.
Oh yeah, Dennis, that's my boy,
dude.
I'm trying to bring him on.
He would be good. He lives that farm life and shit. Like
he's a farmer. He's retirement age and he's ripped to shreds.
Dude, he's in good shit. Motherfucker eats raw carrots. Just go. We're sitting at break. We're talking. But
I don't know if that's what's giving him the muscles, but he's strong.
No, motherfucker lifts hay and shit, and it throws it. Like that's crazy.
Like during the day, he's a painter, and at night, he's a superhero.
Right? Just a fucking Redo. Like he's like a Wranglers commercial. Like the
Wrangler for
jeans,
sure.
Dude.
Yeah, he's a real man. This guy's a real man.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Dennis. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've had a couple of people like at the place where I was at. You were there the next day because I took that Saturday off because I was busy with other things, more important things.
What was that?
Making my pockets fat as fuck.
Damn, working that side money. That's good, man. It's good. Stay busy. Work now because you know what? We're about to hit this recession real soon.
And who the fuck knows what exactly really is going to happen?
Listen, I think 2008 is what's going to happen.
Do you? Why do you think that?
I don't know, man. I'm just listening to people who are a lot smarter than me in the financial fucking world saying it's doom and gloom. I try not to be doom and gloom because I'm trying to be like positive and shit, but I don't know. I'm preparing for it. I think you'd be foolish not to prepare for it. I think you should at least be saving your money. Stop wasting it on stupid shit.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy that.
There's always ups and downs, right, with everything. And obviously the economy was doing so good for so long. It's got to come down at some point. And that's when they say that rich people make the most money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like right now you got to position yourself because a lot of things are going to go on sale in the next probably 12 to 18 months.
Like what? What are you looking to buy?
I don't know. I want to learn about stocks. I think properties are going to drop. I heard a crazy number about foreclosures. Like there's the most amount of Oh, that's why I'm not fucking talking into it right now. You hear it? You hear a difference now?
I do hear a little bit of a difference now.
See now I keep forgetting it's not the top and it's the side.
Now there's a little more pepper.
Now it's way different. Okay. Anyway, sorry. There's a lot smarter people saying that you gotta stocks are gonna be super cheap and property's probably gonna go down. Oh, I was saying about foreclosures. There's an absurd amount of foreclosures happening, and that's, I mean, if you got some cash saved up, that's how you fucking jump from one category to the next. You just position yourself, save some cash right now. I think that's the fucking goal.
Get your credit right.
Work your ass off.
Get your credit right. Make extra money. Buy stocks. Save up. And eventually buy property. Right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've heard.
That's the game, man. Property, that seems to have made the most amount of millionaires out of any industry throughout mankind.
Yeah.
It's always been real estate, houses, flipping, whatever, anything to do with real estate. And actually, it's not a bad idea it's not a terrible idea to get your license or something. You know, it's like,
real estate?
Yeah.
Real estate license? Yeah.
Because you can kind of do it on your own time, right? So it's like,
everyone
you know is going to probably buy a house at some point. And obviously, you keep your painting. We'll keep our painting. And then you, at night, you know, there's potential of making, you know, selling a $500,000 house. I mean, I don't know what percentage. I think you work out percentages. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know people make some money off it. So I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just figuring out exactly how to do it and what, like, because there's so many strategies in real estate. It's like learn a little bit about all of them, get yourself a good lawyer, and then figure out what strategy you're going to use that you're capable of using, right? Because if you have the right amount of money or not so much money, because I know there's people that do this. I'm not sure what it's called, but they'll like license. They'll like, God, I forget the name of it. But anyways, what they do is they find wholesale. That's what they do. They find a property and then they sell it to somebody else. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. See, this is why you're here. This is why I'm here.
Do you think those seminars, those classes are worth it? Like, you see those, like, you know, pay $500 for maybe a 2 or 3 day course, and they'll teach you how to wholesale. I had a buddy who did that, and I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be some gems that you learn, something you actually learn, but something tells me those are like real salesman-y. Let me fucking hype you up to do this thing, and you pay me extra for like more personal classes. You know what I'm saying? Like it turns into like more like a charlatan kind of thing.
Well, I mean, a good rule of thumb is you find somebody that's been doing it for a long time, because scammers are not going to last very long, right? They'll come out, they'll do it for a little while, and then they'll go away because they've scammed, like, right, their audience has already been scammed. And then, but if somebody's been doing it for a while, it's like, how many of them, you know what I mean? They can't, if they're scamming, they're going to be found out.
Right. Well, that's what makes me think, like, those people who run the seminars, how many properties do they own? I want to know their portfolio. Like, if you're a person,
like who though?
If you're, I don't know, right? Like, if you just go to one of these classes and you got a person standing there telling you how to do shit. Yeah. Honestly, one of my first questions early on would be like, how many properties do you own? Right. And if they're like, I just got one, or maybe one rental, it's like, then you don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
well, you know something, but you just one rental.
I'm tired of people who haven't done the thing teaching other people how to do the thing.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? It's like a fat trainer. Have we talked about this yet?
No.
Okay, like if I've seen it in the gym all the time, where there's like maybe not fat trainer, but he's not like that good in shape, and it's like if you haven't done it, then all you know is it's in theory. It's like you haven't proven, it's like you haven't proven a thing. I feel like if you're, especially, okay, let's say if you're a fitness trainer, you should be in shape, because then you have to tell, it's like
I've been there, I've done it, here's the proof.
Exactly. It's like, otherwise, if you're like, no, you got to do A, B, and C, and you're chubby, it's like, well, how do I know those things work then? Yeah. But I don't think enough people question that, though.
Well, so I just questioned something recently, or it's yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I got a buddy that loved deer.
Okay.
And he sends, I don't talk to him often, but once in a while he'll send like a Bible verse. And it'll be like something like, Is
it wanted? Do you like that?
So I know that he values it, and because he values it, and he took the time to think about me. For me, it's like it's special.
Okay.
But at the same time, right? At the same time, he'll send these verses, and I do know a little bit about the Bible, right? I went to church for a little while. And so I have another buddy who he links us together in the same chat. And so my other buddy doesn't know anything. And so he'll send this verse, and I'll read it, and I'm like, dude, what does it mean? I told him. And then he came back, and he just basically explained what he tried to lay out what the verse meant by saying what the verse already said. And I was like, well, and it goes back to that thing. It's like, if you don't really know, why are you doing it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that I'm an expert at it, but really, if you weren't alive 2,000 years ago, do you really know what it's saying? Do you really know what it means? Yeah. Right? Because there's all this psychedelic stuff going on in there. Like, what do you feel about that?
About psychedelics in the religion thing?
Yeah.
I think there's something to it. I mean, they've proven, I forgot the dude, he was on Rogan, he's talking about this ergot. It was like mixed with wine, and it's supposed to be a hallucinogen, and that's what they did. A lot of the ceremonial things where like everyone would drink from the chalice or whatever, and they'd all have a spiritual thing, but what it really was a hallucinogen. I think that it would be foolish. I mean,
well, have you ever done the mushrooms?
Oh, yes.
And how do you feel closer to God when you do them?
In fact, I'm doing mushrooms tonight.
Oh, okay.
But
well, I need to talk to you after the podcast.
Yeah. Do you feel close? I think God. I don't think you're closer to God, but you have a fucking experience, and I think it depends what kind of intention you put out there. Because I kind of.
So, what do people mean when they say God, anyways?
I don't know, man. I guess depending on who you ask, I think it's like
because in the Bible he describes himself as
I don't believe in the Bible version of a God.
Okay, well, but here's the thing. He says but if we were going to talk about it, we're going to talk about what it says. It says, "I am the truth, the light, and the way." So what exactly is the truth?
Right.
What? All right, so let's think about what is truth. What is truth? Truth is something that can't be denied.
Okay.
All right. So something that can be proven, undeniable. That's truth, right? Light. Obviously, you can't read in the dark. You can't see your way in the dark. But it's kind of direction, right?
Okay.
And then the way. I guess it's showing
you
how to live.
But these are translated words that came from like 3 other languages before it finally came to English.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, how do you say that you're an expert at it if you weren't even around 2,000 years ago?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's another book by John Marco Allegro. It's called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. You heard of that?
I do kind of feel like, or I've heard someone reference it maybe.
So he was a linguist, scholar, and very capable at his job, right? And so he was one of a bunch of people who were looking at the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were these.
Weren't a bunch of them destroyed?
They were destroyed. It was so basically it was in like some type of urn or this
clay pots or something.
Yeah, it was in this clay pot, and they pulled them out. And the way they were able to put them together was they were able to use DNA because they were written on animal skins, and they were able to figure out, oh, this belongs here, this belongs there. And so he was one of the scholars that was actually looking at it and actually going, just decoding it.
Wasn't there like a farmer who burned a bunch for fire?
Probably
to keep. Yeah,
I can. If that's what's left after like 2,000 years, I'm sure that a lot of it was destroyed.
Well, that's what we talked about this about how conquerors always come in and destroy shit. There's so much forgotten information, like how the pyramids were built, all that. I bet you was probably written down somewhere at some point.
Do you think maybe the Vatican has some of that stuff?
Oh, dude, for sure. Oh, hell yeah. I would love to see I think they have warehouses, plural, of just all the confiscated art and books and for thousands of years. Can you just fucking imagine all that shit? That'd be so great to just spend That's a vacation. That's how I would like to go to the Vatican.
That's how you would like to spend your
if
vacation?
they just no, to the Vatican, at least to specify.
Do you have your passport?
I do.
You do have it. Oh, okay. I just filled out for one. Let's go. Let's go to the Vatican.
But if they could show us all that, I don't think they do. I don't think they show you all their like.
Well, isn't it
storage?
Isn't it like a museum of like all this art from past?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Imagine the shit they have.
Civilizations.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
I think, you know, like some of these secret societies, I think they have some of that information as well.
Dude, don't you think the Vatican is like a secret society? They
yeah.
have to have the secrets in their library.
It's a country within a country. Like, let that sink in. There's no other place on Earth like that, right? There's basically a country within a country. They have their own set of rules, their own military.
The Dominican Republic.
They have that?
I guess it's 2 countries on one island. Country within a country. No.
Yeah, right.
Would you consider DC a different country?
Well, I was thinking about that too. Actually, it's kind of similar.
Right,
it's its own set of rules, its own kind of laws, its own police, its own shit.
Yeah. It's kind of, well, I don't know. But anyways, I was just like, yeah, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, why the fuck are you doing it? You know, because for me, when like there's certain things I see, things that I put together, just because of the way that I think, you know, you know, I believe certain things, and you know, I use that as like a reference point to make reason for everything that I see, read, and just basically come across in my life. So, like, for instance, you know, going back to the Bible thing and that Bible verse that my buddy put out, I just don't think that he knows what he's talking about. Because, so on Joe Rogan, there was Paul Stamets was on, he's like a mushroom guy. And so Joe Rogan asked him about John Marco Allegro, and he said that he didn't believe any of it. But I was like, well, what did John Marco Allegro say? So I went and I read his book. And in the book, it talks about that he says that the Dead Sea Scrolls said that Jesus is the mushroom. And they coded it in a way where, you know, they're using Jesus. So have you ever heard of the ritual that they do when you eat the flesh of Jesus and drink his blood?
Oh, the sacrament, right?
Or why would you do that?
Or whatever? Yeah.
Why would you eat his flesh?
Well, it's supposed to symbolize the Last Supper or some shit.
Okay. Well, why symbolize eating the flesh of your God on earth?
I think it was. Listen, I can't believe I even remember half of this shit. But I thought, when on the Last Supper, I think it was like I'm giving myself to you or something. It's like, isn't there?
Yeah, this is my body.
Yeah.
You know, and you eat the flesh of Jesus, which is a weird ritual, right? But it wouldn't be so weird if he was a mushroom.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay, and then think about why the Indian religion.
Okay.
Why do they worship cows, and in their shit mushrooms grow that you eat?
Oh, I see what you're doing.
You know what I mean?
Like, I see what you're doing here.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's really weird. And then, so nowadays the Bible is looked at like something that we don't no longer want to use. It's like get religion out of here.
Well, I do think that hallucinogens have a role in unifying mankind, I believe. First off, mushrooms are like the oldest living thing on this earth. I think mushrooms could even live in space. I could be wrong about that. We got to give that a goog.
Well, first of all, they breathe oxygen,
and
different from every other plant.
Yeah. I do like. Have you ever done mushrooms?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, don't be scared. Nobody watches this.
Yes.
So, tell me about your experience. How much did you eat? Do you remember?
All right. So I ate enough to get to the gate, but I didn't go through it.
What is it? Okay, so do you know how many grams? Or did you
I don't
just
remember.
eyeball some shit?
I don't remember. I got it from one of my buddies. And
What do you remember? What do you remember about your experience?
I just felt peaceful. There was like a little joy, kind of like I knew something, like I had a secret that I couldn't tell anybody, but the secret benefited me somehow. And I was just joyful. Like it was just felt nice.
Did you go down any like mental journeys where you kind of felt like you lost track of time and you're like, oh shit, I was just thinking hard for the last couple?
No.
That's what happens to me.
I cut my grass. My yard was looking nice. I was just hanging out.
It was a daytime trip?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was like a weekend summer thing. And I felt like, you know that feeling when you pay off all your bills and you have like extra money you didn't know you had?
Oh. Or
you're like, oh, fuck. This is really cool.
Or you find that the $100 bill in the jeans out of the washer.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I didn't expect this.
Right.
But it does feel like.
Did anything get like wah on you?
No.
Then you didn't go hard enough.
No, that's what I mean. I got to the house, but I didn't go inside.
Yeah, so you probably had like maybe a little bit more than what they would call a micro dose, you know. I took a whole eighth, which is 3.5 grams, which is like a real nice. That's a real trip. You're gonna go through. It's like a probably 3-4 hour.
Oh,
where you go, you go up and down. You go up and down though. It's not just like intensity for 4 straight hours.
I mean, I think it lasted that long.
Yeah. But I did it. We used to, the first couple times I did it, we were doing it at a buddy's lake house, and he had a house just full of couches, full of TVs. It was just really meant to like relax, you know. And then he had it was a lake house, so there was a lake just outside and trees and one of those not ottomans, those love seats that swing.
Okay.
So it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
We would.
Did you fuck?
Nah, that's it with hallucinogenics. It's some people get horny, and it's maybe when it's first kind of kicking in, but it quickly turns into a thing where you're not thinking about fucking. You're just being horny. In fact, I think my dick shrivels and goes inside my goddamn stomach.
It's fucking you,
dude. Legit. Like you'll go and take a piss, you'll be like, "What?" It is the most unflattering version of your dick you'll ever fuck.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I promise you. If you're on a real
what if you're reaching in like a sweater pocket and pulling it out?
It'll look like you're. Dude, I swear to God, one time it looked like I wasn't circumcised. It like fucking went so far in. It was in like, if any chick would have saw it at that moment,
oh God,
they would 100% think it was micro dick. It was like a micro penis.
Oh no.
Anyways, it's just because
I don't know if I want to do this now.
Well, it's not when you take those things, it's not about. That's what Molly and cocaine are for. It's like that's the sex go fuck drug. Mushrooms is kind of like, I want to learn something. I want to get
circumcised.
No, right. Ayo. No, you get like this for me, every time I take mushrooms or acid, it's like I want to learn something. So I always kind of put an intention out, like, just give me some kind of information. And I feel like then all of a sudden I start.
Like what though?
I don't know. It's like you read in between the lines type shit. So if I'm watching a movie, it's kind of the fun of it. I'll be like, I'll put things together that I didn't before. So like, I'll be like, oh, do you know what that, the movie will be saying something. I'll be like, oh, do you know what that really means? And then I'll put
oh God,
you know what I'm saying?
Welcome to my world. What? Bro, that's all I ever fucking do.
It's and then the worst thing I swear to God, I think it's, especially certain movies, there's definitely hidden messages for those who are listening. That's how I put it.
Yeah.
And
oh, for sure. But that's
like Fear and Loathing Las Vegas. Highly recommend if you're gonna take mushrooms or acid and you're gonna just chill and watch a movie. Fear and Loathing Las Vegas is for.
What does that movie mean?
Okay, exactly. Have you watched it?
I fell asleep.
Okay, the reason why it makes no fucking sense. Like, if you watch it, doesn't make sense because you're not tripping. It strictly was made for you to be tripping because they do certain things to like fuck with you, and they tell you they're gonna fuck with you. I swear to God, this is a real story. So what I was watching it, I was on acid, and we started watching it. It was the first movie. It was starting to kick in.
Yeah.
So I start watching it, and all of a sudden, like, I'm like, dude, this fucking movie is legit talking to me. I'm getting direct conversation from the TV. So I started realizing, like, this whole movie's a metaphor, right? So it's Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro, or however you say his last name.
Boricua.
Benicio del Toro is you, the viewer. Johnny Depp is the trip. He's the metaphor for the trip. Actually you going high and low. Okay. And the narrator, every time it's Johnny Depp narrating, talking.
Yeah.
And it's talking to you directly, and it's so crazy. There's this point, and I swear to God, it trips me out every time I even think about it. There was a point where the movie goes, like, it shows like, it tells you, okay, there's things that are inside of this. I don't know where it says it in the movie, but there these words, and the way it hits you was like, there are people doing things to you without your knowledge, right? So it's like, watch what I'm gonna do right now with your consent. So all of a sudden I'm getting chills thinking about it, because when I put this all together, I was like, what, that euphoric epiphany feeling? Yes. When you're tripping, that's times 20. So it's like, holy shit, like, I know what they're like.
It was a moment of clarity.
Straight the fuck up. So he's like, watch what I'm going to do. So they start playing these. You see the images on the screen is Benicio del Toro starts making these faces where he's not feeling well.
Okay.
And they start playing these sounds, and all of a sudden it draws you in. You're super focused in, and they start playing like these water drops. And then fucking Benicio del Toro is making these faces, and all of a sudden you personally start feeling crazy. You're like, your stomach starts bubbling, and it's like, and you're feeling like, so, but you see Benicio del Toro's, he goes in the bathroom, he starts hugging, he's like feeling crazy, and all of a sudden you're feeling crazy, and you're like, what the fuck? And they're playing these music, and all of a sudden you'll feel your heart rate go up, and all of a sudden it's kind of like building you up to this point, and then boom, they do something, and then it was Johnny Depp was like, it was like the part of where they start making you feel like you're tripping, where you're seeing a lot of visuals. So they brought you up, and then they started playing this other music and this other imagery, and you start tripping. You see Johnny Depp going in this hallway, and he's like grabbing onto the wall, and he can't walk straight. And all of that is fucking you up when you're watching it, right? So, and then you see the carpet. He's looking at the carpet as it's like a kaleidoscope, and it kind of like, and this whole time, and he's like, look what I just did. He's like, imagine what they're doing without your consent. He's like, I just did this whole thing with your consent. He's like, imagine what they're doing without it. And all of a sudden, like, wow. I got chills again. Like, look at legit. My heart's are sticking up, because it was such a real moment. And I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time. I'm like, did you just fucking hear that? And she goes, she was like at another fucking level. I was like, are you not fucking paying attention to what he just did? It blew my fucking mind. And then they started showing like images of like fast food. He's like, they're killing. And every time he says something as a narration, it's directly at you. It's exactly a message to you. They made this movie 100%. Well, because it's that one Thomas. Who wrote that movie? Real famous guy.
The journalist.
Something Thomas or
Thompson.
Yeah, whatever. He was a big druggy guy.
Yep.
They made this movie.
Writer.
His name's not Writer.
No. He's a writer.
Oh, yeah,
he was a writer, a journalist.
They made this movie to like show you what's possible. It's like I feel like they were exposing things. I don't know, man. It was great. It was a great movie, and I highly, highly, highly suggest watching it tripping, because it won't make sense. The movie does not make sense sober.
Interesting. Yeah. No. So our world is built through chemicals.
Right.
Because our body is full of chemical releases. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then medicine is other chemicals that help to repair certain areas or delay certain things.
It's man-made. Well, it's not really chemicals, but your body processes it and it creates.
Well, so if your body is a machine, right? It's a machine made out of like pipes, valves, and pumps.
Penis pumps. I'm just joking.
I guess, yeah, sure.
I don't know, that came out.
But anyways, yeah. So your body's like it's like, you know, like pipes, valves, and pumps. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so there's certain there's a language that chemicals speak to other chemicals or to other parts of our body, and it's a language. It's a different way that they communicate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a headache. Right? The way to stop a headache is to put this chemical in your body. That chemical goes in your body, it gets processed, and it tells something else what to do. So it's like a communication.
Sure.
So how is that different from a mushroom giving you the chemical to give you a different type? Let's say...
I think it opens up gate. I think it's an information gate. It's like an unspoken information gateway that gets unlocked. I think when you eat that, see, that's where. So then you start putting your tinfoil hat on, and you start thinking like, well, why is it illegal? Well, they don't want people to fucking open up their mind. It's like that shit really opens up your mind. That's why first off,
why
psilocybin's about to be legal soon. Because
why don't they want to open up your mind? Because
then you start realizing that like you're being controlled by government. It's like you don't.
If it was easy for a movie to control you, right? Mm-hmm. The movie that you watch.
In Fear and Law in that movie as well, they start talking about like they start showing like they want us to fight, they want us to be in wars, and they show images of tanks and like the fucking. Right. The war and shit, and then they're like, the answer is love, and then you start thinking, you're like, man, the answer really is love. It's like if we all just fucking loved each other,
that is so crazy.
Yeah,
now I got the chills.
No, you'd be like, dude, if we all just loved each other, things would, and then that's what the
hear me out.
Let me finish this out. The person who feels that in that moment is like, yeah. Love is the answer. And in that moment, you're like, if everyone in the entire world felt like I do in this exact moment, that we would put all our differences away. We would all care for each other. Famine wouldn't be a thing. Love thy neighbor would be like, that makes the most sense. It's like, oh, and then you start thinking, well, if we all felt unified, if we all felt like one, then we wouldn't need government. We would just handle things ourselves. And then that's why I think things are illegal, is because the government has to be big brother. They don't want our minds now. I get that the real reason you can make the argument is like, oh well, people will abuse it. Well, they do, people abuse alcohol, people abuse anything,
abuse everything.
But I think if there was more knowledge on it and it was talked about in schools more and it was legal and it wouldn't have that stigma, I don't think it would get abused, But what were we going to say now?
Yeah, no, when you said that the answer is love, it just brought a bunch of things. I made certain connections in my head. And so, for me, the Bible's big because it's like, it's so misunderstood, and I'm not saying that I understand it. But so my buddy who sent me this text, and I hate to go back to it, but it's like all this stuff is like, I make a bunch of connections in my head. And so he sent this text, and so the answer is love. And let's just say that the mushroom is, let's just say for just the sake of this mental experiment, let's just say the mushroom is God.
Okay.
And then you eat him. Mm-hmm. And that gives you a connection to something greater than you.
A oneness.
And that shows you things that you didn't know before that were hidden, right? Like the movie.
Hidden in plain sight.
Hidden right in plain sight.
Exactly.
And that shows you the truth.
Right.
And so they don't want us to know the truth, but what exactly is the truth?
I think that we're a part of something way bigger.
What does love bring? When you have love, what does love bring?
I think love, when you embody love, I think most humans would agree that that's the best feeling. And what is that really? It's just a chemical release in your brain, right? But
when does it release?
I think it's what every human is longing for at its core is like love.
Do you think love could be like fulfilling your duty as a human being? Like fulfilling your purpose? Because the Bible speaks a lot about purpose and fulfilling your purpose.
That falls for responsibility for me. I don't think love is that. I don't know, man. I think.
So imagine you were built for something and you're not doing it.
I think, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you find out what you're actually made for. Would that be a fulfilling or a feeling of, could you get a feeling of love from that? Because you definitely get a feeling of love when you're fucking and you're.
I think it's fulfillment.
Is that love?
No, I don't think so.
What is, so the Bible explains that love is basically just helping another person. Like there, and it says that there's like more than one type of love, and it might be 5 of them.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I think love is definitely like a spectrum of shit.
Yeah, there's like 5 because you love the way you love your wife or
and love your
woman,
dog are 2 different things.
Yes, and the way you love your child is different.
Right.
Than the way you would love a friend
and love your car. And
exactly.
And like, yeah, right. That's
exactly.
Why it's kind of
there's like 5 different loves.
I could agree.
Yeah, and so they're each different. But I think like, what would if you're a human being and you find out your purpose, what would exactly be your purpose on this planet?
I think if we were gonna go straight into what's the purpose of life, I kind of think it's like it's about experiences. I think life is about experiences, and that's gonna mean a spectrum of it. You have to experience the lows to appreciate the highs. That whole cliche shit, you know.
Wouldn't it depend on the person? Because what if a serial person's like the way he feels?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Love, it's perspective.
Because he might love killing.
Exactly. You might love little fucking boys, and you know, right. Exactly.
So would that maybe the Bible?
I think I don't know. I think you're supposed
sin, the love of sin. I don't know.
That's fucked up, right? The thought of people liking fucking little kids. It's like, holy shit. That's got to be the worst sin, right? It's worse than murder, don't you think? Do you think like a group of people would think a guy fucking a boy?
It's got to be worse than murder because I think there are some people that should be murdered. Oh my God.
What do you mean?
I almost got in trouble at work.
Tell me.
So I was running this big job and I had a bunch of guys. Actually, the job you were there on Saturday, but I didn't go to work on Saturday
and Sunday, by the way.
And Sunday. So I didn't run the job on Saturday and Sunday. There was a whole group of different guys who went there. But in any case, I had a coworker that was sent to me, and he's an abusive, kind of narcissistic guy. He went there, and I had him. I gave him kind of the most cushy job, only because I needed him out of my hair, and I couldn't watch him because he's kind of older now, and he's not as spry as some of the other guys. And so every job I put him to do, he was like the opposite of King Midas. He turned it into shit. And so
we should coin that phrase. What is that?
What?
Someone everything they touch turns to shit.
Yeah,
we gotta coin that. It's like
give it a name.
Yeah, make it like a thing.
Fucking. Well,
I know they have like the cooler, like casinos. You know what the cooler is? Someone's like on fire, and someone will send a casino will send this guy that's just bad luck, and he just stands next to you, and he hopefully rubs his bad luck on you, and you start doing shitty.
Oh shit!
They call them coolers.
That's another fucking form of witchcraft.
Dude,
but anyways, so the way I got in trouble was, I fucking told him, I was like, dude, you suck, man. He's like, well, I can't, whatever. And I was like, man, you know,
his name Ken?
You spark certain things in my head. No, it wasn't Ken. You spark certain things in my head. And I kind of wish that I told him if I was president, I would bring back the fucking,
lynchings.
Yeah, like I would not lynching,
fucking
right? Not lynching.
Hang him in the middle of court.
Not lynching because that has like a very negative racist connotation, right? Not lynching, but like I would bring him into if I was president, I would have him killed in the square. That's what I told him. I said I would bring you, and I would make it a pay-per-view event. You were fucking useless.
What do they call it when they got their hands and their necks in that thing?
The guillotine.
Not the guillotine, but it's the other. That's when you chop your head off. But
that's right.
What's the one that they just punish you and you sit there for fucking days?
Wow. If he was your bully, would you stick your finger in his nose?
You throw
slap them, like shit in a cup, and then.
Could you imagine living in those days? Like the whole like.
No. Fuck that.
They got like if they're lucky, got odd houses. Or
I don't even want to imagine living in the 70s.
Oh man, how lucky are we that we live in today's day? You know, fuck. I kind of appreciate that. I'm a millennial and I was born in the 80s and raised in the 90s. You've seen all the change. I seen like from because the 90s things were still kind of like on that old school vibe. You know, where it's like. It kind of had like
bar days,
and then all of a sudden, in like 20 years from the 90s to 2010, so much shit changed.
Bro,
fucking bananas.
The internet fucking broke the world.
Bananas. They fucked up. The powers that be really fucked up when they let us all have the internet. I don't think they realized. Dude, there was people who thought that the internet was gonna be a fad.
What type of things got fucked up? What do you think?
Well, all this free information and fucking us just the pipeline of information. Now they can't control it. I mean, that's always been power move is controlling the information. I mean, fucking your Bible people did that back in the day. They fucking didn't want the town to know how to read and write.
Hey, they did a lot of things. They did good things. They did bad things. And I'm not advocating for like the Catholics or the Christians, right? Because they crusaded and they did a bunch of fucking crazy shit. But if you in the Bible, the Jewish people actually, or the Israelites, these people would go into towns and kill everyone. Everyone.
Yeah.
No one was left alive.
What about the Bible thumpers, the fucking Old Testament people who are like fucking rain and fire type people?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if you read the Bible and you read the stories about the Israelites, they basically massacred.
Isn't that weird that there's two versions of the Bible within the Bible?
No, there isn't two versions. There's the version Jesus used to read, which is the Old Testament. That's what he had to read. And then there is the accounts of Jesus.
He read a book.
The church.
He had a book to read.
Well, he's read, what they called it is the scriptures. He had the scriptures.
Oh, from Moses, like the commandments.
No,
like on the tablets?
No, those were tablets that he came down with, which were not just 10. It was 150 tablets or something, 151 tablets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, what was I saying? Now I'm like you.
Commandments, Jesus reading.
Yeah, no, it's just that the church did good things, they did bad things. I mean, think about it. Back then,
more good than bad, you think?
It depends how you look at it.
I
like
think so.
Like there's variations, right? Because think about child fuckers. Right? We were just talking about.
I try not to.
No, yes, don't think about them, but I'm just saying, think about like the people who do these horrible things, right? It used to be more acceptable, right? Because even what's the guy, Michelangelo, the guy who painted the
Sistine Chapel?
The chapel.
Is it
right?
Sistine or 16th?
Yeah, Sistine.
Okay.
So, yes, he had an apprentice, was a young boy. He basically had sex with him. Galileo had an apprentice, basically had sex with that boy.
Could you imagine having the most famous dick in you at the time? It's like, do you have Michelangelo raping you? You're like,
you wouldn't know it at the time.
It's like, hey, fucking.
But anyways, the church outlawed that.
Oh, shit.
So imagine, it was accepted in society to have an apprentice, right? All these men, child destroying, right? Mm-hmm. And the church made it so you couldn't do that. So in that aspect, the church kind of like saved a bunch of kids.
Speaking of that, now I've been thinking about different things to talk about on the podcast. I wrote a couple things down, and this kind of leads into one of the things that I was thinking about.
Okay.
Where do you think fetishes come from?
Creativity.
So explain.
So yeah, I mean,
like what I was getting.
Like there are people that are more creative than others. Like Michelangelo, for instance, he was an engineer. Outside of being an engineer, he was a painter and a sculptor. Like those are very different things. Like the reason why he was able to paint the ceiling of this gigantic temple was because he was an engineer and he was able to design the actual apparatus that was going to get him up there. I mean, he made a goddamn helicopter.
Right. Well, but what I'm saying is, what evolutionary trait? Like, how did we get to the point where it's like, just beyond the instinct to have sex. But then how do you start getting into like, I'm into feet and then I'm into like, what do you think that is?
I think so. Like men and women. Okay. Oh gosh, I don't know why it always comes to this, but men and women are very different. So if a woman is like, they looked at like the chimpanzees. They did a study on chimpanzees, and the chimpanzee females, their diet consists of exactly what her mother taught her to eat. But chimpanzee males were a little more creative, a little more wild, and their diet consisted of many other things, and some of them would even make them sick. So if you, like, men are a little more creative, but not so much, right? Different from women. Women are also creative, but men, because we have this insatiable like need to breed, to have sex, to spread our seed, right? We get to the point where we're like, I want something new, because like do you remember when you were fucking going through puberty, how you just couldn't hide it, where I would just want to rip through your pants, and even if just a little breeze came by.
But don't you think it's always? Don't you think it's like always like an image or something happened, and then all of a sudden you had like a new feeling? All right, for instance, I have an example, and this fucking got burned in my head. I used to hang out at the local pool. It was called Maple Pool. Shout out to Maple Pool. It's not even open anymore.
And shout out to white bathing suits.
Okay. Oh yeah, right. Well, you don't see those that often, anyways. But they got usually like the chicks will have the backing where you can't see through it, but so I used to. All right, so the diving board, right? You jump on the diving board and then you swim off to the little ladder.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would just hang out on that ladder because like the lifeguards didn't care if I just hung out in the pool.
Okay, you were that boy.
So yeah, I was a
taking
pool
up
rat,
space.
dude. I was such a pool rat that the chlorine would like dye my hair blonde. I would be in the water so often, wouldn't shower it off, and then it would like turn it like a dirty blonde.
Wow.
But there was a chick that
white.
I know I'm ghostly right now too, which is unfortunate. All these sunny fucking days, and I haven't took advantage of it. Been working too much. Anyways, so I would go under the water and I would see people jump in, right, and you'd see whatever. Well, anyways, there's this one chick my age with big old titties for middle school. Okay, big old titties.
Tickle bitties.
Jumped in that. I seen full titties, dude. Full fucking beautiful 7th grade. I was 7th grade at the time too. Titties, okay. And that moment, it was almost like a whole. I was extremely horny after that, you know. So it's like throughout like childhood, there's like little moments where it's like,
yeah, that helped to mold you.
Where it's like, oh, that's a new thing. I want to chase that now, you know. It's like,
okay.
So
that's
like,
when you became a titty guy.
Yeah, well, I'm more of an ass man, but
okay,
at that moment, I think pretty even jerked off in the pool that day. I might have.
In the pool?
I might have.
You son of a bitch.
I'm a dirty motherfucker. You never done that? Jerked off in the pool?
Never.
You never jerked off in a weird place?
Define weird place.
Okay. Did you ever hump anything as a kid? Like pillows, couches?
Bro, what didn't I hump is easier.
Cool. It's weird, right? I never admitted that to anyone before, that I like humped a pillow. But then I've heard enough people say.
My poor pillow.
Oh, so it's a thing. Okay.
I still have the same pillow.
It's like Old Faithful. It's like the old blankie. You can't let it go. You fucking suck on it here and there.
No, I don't have that pillow anymore. I gave it to my brother.
Yeah, right. Hand me down. My son has it now. No, but yeah, it's a weird thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I jerked off in that pool, man. I'm pretty positive.
How could you have jerked off in the pool and I got arrested?
Nobody, just hand down the pants. I'm fucking a little kid. No one's thinking anything.
Bro,
and I probably did it so quick.
There's an officer there making sure you don't drown.
Now, there was lifeguards, and they don't know what I'm doing underwater.
You're fucking drowning children is what you're doing.
Oh, I see
you probably killed 2 billion kids.
Abortion.
Is that an abortion?
It's a form.
I guess
I'm
it
just
is.
joking.
I don't know. God, we just said a bunch of
control.
shit. Hey, you know what? You know, like some of our episodes are low. I think it's YouTube doing that.
Nah, dude, nobody watches this shit. We're not on any algorithms.
Yeah, but we say, you just said the R word.
No,
I'm sorry.
I didn't
The
say
A word.
What was that?
Aborto.
That's a word you can't say?
That's a word you're not allowed to say.
All right. I got another thing I wrote down.
Okay, what?
Okay. What's the difference between passionately chasing your dreams with everything that you got and then delusion? So like when do you step over the line into delusion when you're like, I really want this thing to work. I'm fucking working my ass off. I'm go, trying, but it's not working. Like this podcast, for instance. How long do we do it before we're like, it's not working? Ooh, wasting time possibly. We got to do something else.
So,
you know what I'm saying? You know
yeah,
what I'm asking?
Yeah. So delusion is going to be a goal that's unattainable, right? So like you're 4'1" and you want to go into the NBA.
Okay.
Delusion.
Right. Or be president of the United States with like, I see what you're saying. It's like,
you know what I'm saying?
unattainable goal.
It's unattainable. Yeah. Delusion is going to be unattainable without a doubt. So like, what are some of the goals you had growing up that you were like, what the fuck was I thinking?
I don't know. I didn't really set goals when I was younger, but a few things that I did think about was like, I don't know. It was so stupid that I remember thinking about this in middle school. It was like my goal was to have at least like a $75,000 a year job. How'd I come up with that number? No idea.
You surpassed that.
Right. So, and then owning my house outright, no payments.
Okay.
And it's
that's
like
all attainable.
It's very, very attainable. And then that's the only thing I can really think of. But yeah, goals now.
Damn, bro, set your fucking bar a little higher.
Listen, I have new goals now. I have plenty of new goals now.
So what's your goal and by when?
I'm trying to be financially. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't want to say I don't want to say finance. I want to be like financially free.
You want wiggle room?
I want to be able to. I want my passive income to pay for my lifestyle.
What do you mean by passive income?
So, either rental properties, or maybe someday these videos, or music, or doing something that you can get.
Okay. At what point do those become delusion?
Right. Exactly.
Well, because all right, so I would say like if your goal is to like finish a book, right? Mm-hmm. But you're never even reading a page,
or writing a page.
Delusion, or writing a page,
right?
Is it delusion to like never even attempt it? But that's your goal,
right? No, but I'm thinking, what's the delusion of like? Okay, let's say for instance, to be a rapper. Okay, let's say that was a goal of mine.
Okay.
And the first year, I'm learning. I do whatever. I record a song every week or whatever, every day. And then I push it. And then to the point where it's like, because whatever you dive into, it's like, you can't, like, let's say it was music. I wouldn't just be in it for 2 hours a day. It's like something that I would be like, all my extra free time would be to this goal.
Yeah.
After a couple years, it's like me making music. I start a SoundCloud or whatever, this, that, and the other. It's like, at what point do it's like, okay, well, this isn't making me money, and I'm trying to make more than just my painting. Yeah. So it's like, at one point, it's like, okay, I got to put this. But then there's people who would be like, well, there's people who made music for 10 years that didn't get popular or make it until the 10th year. So it's like, what's it? Okay, so a better question. So how do you get to the person who quits after 3 years or goes to the 10 years? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah. I will honestly, if you're trying to achieve a goal, it's gotta be. It can't be something that you don't enjoy.
Right. And it's only
literally has to have. You have to have a passion for it.
And I think it's like, it's only a failure when you quit. So it's like, even though you're making a thing, you didn't make it the first time, you didn't make it the second time, you didn't make it the 100th time, but it's only a failure if you quit. If it's like, oh, I'm hanging up the boots, that's when you're a failure. So I don't know. It's like,
but it can also be a failure if you keep trying, and you try till you die, and it didn't make it because it was like you had no passion for it, but you were also not creative enough to stop doing it. And you did it till you died, but you're never successful at it.
Or maybe the question is how much money are you investing in it? Because maybe if it's just time, it's not that bad to go 10 years on your passion. Okay. But if it's one of those things where it's like it's continuously costs you money, and let's say you're buying advertisements and you're spending money to make this thing grow and it's not working, it's like that's where it's like how much more in the hole do I go to make this thing work versus it's like calling it quits.
Yeah, no, I think you have to have a passion for it, and you have to enjoy it, and you have to be there has to be a value attached to it, right? Because if first, like this podcast, people have to be able to extract a value from it. Because if they're not, like if we were here just talking shit about dicks and fucking stupid shit, which we are, but there's also a little bit of value, right? Because I know that the people that listen, they're constantly asking me, where the fuck is the podcast?
True. I mean, I think there
is some value to some people.
There's definitely room for just good conversation and people talking. I mean, how many podcasts do you listen to where it's just people talking? You know, it's not necessarily like specific information driven. But the thing that I started thinking about too is like there's so many podcasts out there. So I think what you have to do is you have to appeal to the people who like our personalities, right? So it's like just slowly, because I listen to maybe 4 or 5 podcasts. So a lot of them are just hour or two, and I have a lot of hours to kill where I listen to things. So it's like I can listen to multiple podcasts. What I kind of hope for this podcast is that we're just one of those podcasts among many that people listen to. It's like, oh, I just need some background noise while I'm fucking working.
Dude, I don't want to be background noise.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't take that as a negative. I take that as like, for instance, like when I'm painting, it's like I like listening to Rogan and all those different. A lot of times it's like just whatever, but it's just background. It's like, but it's still enjoyable. It's killing the time.
But there's a value to Joe Rogan. I mean,
for sure. Not all of his episodes though.
Yeah, there is some shit episodes.
You know, there's just like whatever, him and his comedic friends just talking shit and it's just being goofy, which is,
but it's fun because you almost feel like you're in the room.
Well, that's it. I think you nailed it. It's like people like just to hear conversation. It's like they're in a room with people, and hopefully.
But also, how many people have the gift of gab? I'm not saying I have it or you have it, but how many at work? How many people do you work with that you actually have conversations with?
That's true.
Think about it. Right? Very few.
Right.
Very few. But there's a lot of guys that don't even know anything. And I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's a skill, right? And I think it's a skill it's a skill that's diminishing people who know how to talk and keep a conversation going. And do you have anything interesting to talk about? It's like a lot of people don't. A lot of people just. They have work talk and whatever they see on the news. And it's like, that's why I think books, we talked about it. Like, that's why listening to Audible is so great. Yeah. At the very least, it makes you a better conversationalist where it's like you have different things to talk about. Oh, I learned this.
It gives you ideas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing. Different. I was thinking about this. I don't know, random. On Amazon.
Yep.
How many... Throughout all because I've been trying to like get into the reviews, and it's hard to trust reviews. On Amazon.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think there's companies who go on competing companies and just smear them? It's like, and they just have all these fake. They have to, right?
For sure.
It's like, this thing. It's like you can't even believe the reviews. It's like, I don't know. You almost have to read the language if it's a real person or not, right? It's like sometimes if it's so structured, like a English professor wrote it, it's like those are fugazi to me. But but if you read some of them and they're like and you can it almost sounds like someone's talking versus it's like a published thing.
Right.
But then it made me think about how many companies are just all day smearing other companies on Amazon just to fucking.
I'm sure there's been like super giant rivalries, none that I know about or could even mention.
Same.
But you got to think about like so. Oh yeah, how about Puma and Adidas? They're two brothers during.
Really?
Yeah, they were two brothers, and one accused the other, but they basically were a shoe company that were in competition with each other. At one point was one company, then turned into two, and then went into like major competition. One of them even had the other one arrested.
So can you imagine trying to get your brother arrested? If you just for business,
he's got to be a real fucking dick.
What do you think? Who makes more money, Nike or Adidas?
I'm gonna go with Nike.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna go. It's because it's a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, and you don't hear about, which I'm sure they do, but you hear about the Nike in China sweatshops and shit. You don't hear about the Adidas sweatshops, which I'm sure are a thing.
Yeah.
You just don't hear about it. I think Nike got the brunt end of a lot of their. Like where they cut with their, but it didn't hurt their fucking stock or anything. But people woke up that.
I mean, I'm sure that they pay many lawyers to keep that from our ears, eyes.
Lobbyists, right? Yeah, for sure.
It has to be that they have.
That should be illegal, man. That's what's ruining everything is lobbyists.
You think so?
Because you can't get straight, clear cut information. So you have these companies who come out. And they give, like a pharmaceutical company, for instance, it's like they do all their own testing on their product. And then they fucking bring it out and then they tell people what their product. It's like so you got people who will like have, it's like these lobbyists will come in and they'll just they'll show you all the good things about this product, let's say.
Yeah.
And they'll
cigarettes.
Exactly right. So cigarette companies had lobbyists out there with paying doctors to say that, oh, smoking's not addictive and it's not cancer causing. So there's people on record, there's people on TV who said that we're doctors. They're like, hey, this isn't addictive. This isn't killing people. Yeah. It's exactly a good example. That's exactly it. So, and that's going through everything. It's like all politicians have their lobbyists. They like to fucking paint the picture and, be, I don't know. That's what I think, honestly, is ruining a lot of shit. And it's like, and there's people who make a lot of money being lobbyists.
Do you think, but that's the price of doing business? Do you think that's the price of capitalism? Like, you have to find someone to fight for.
No, but that's where the capitalism, I think, gets the bad name. It's like, it's not I believe in capitalism 100%. I believe if I could be Jeff Bezos and build some kind of thing that generates me hundreds of $billions and helps as many people, like, dude, you can order something right now and get it tomorrow morning. It's like people love that shit. It's like, obviously he's a big billionaire because he provided a service for the mass. That seems to be that creating the most billionaires is you have to create a service that helps the masses. That's how you become a billionaire.
Right.
So if it's like, I believe in that. It's like, if you can do that, do it. But then you start getting into, like I said, you hire lobbyists to make your product look like it's better than it really is. And then that's where it starts veering off into the fucking shady gray area, because it's then like, yeah, you're kind of getting bullshit. It's like all the infomercial, like, I don't know. Actually, that's a bad example.
Yeah, no. So no, with the cigarettes, it's like the truth is out there, and we know that it's fucking addictive and also dangerous.
Like e-cigarettes, cigarettes versus
cancer.
E-cigarettes.
Yeah, and the lobbyists out there, they know that the simple fact is they will kill you faster than just time spent on Earth, right?
Right.
And so what they do is they fight for just kind of sprinkling doubt.
Right. Exactly.
They just
or passing or they schmooze the lawmakers who will pass that certain thing for them for it to work out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you hear take the money out of politics, and that's clearly clearly what's going on. I can't believe
what would happen to this country if you took the money out of politics. I wonder.
We've talked
what would
about
happen.
I don't know. I don't think it'll ever change because there's no mechanism to fix it. You know what I'm saying? It's like these people pour a lot of money into campaigns, and then these guys they say the right slogans, the right fucking this and that to get into office, and then they pass bills and they look the other way for all the people who contributed to their campaign. You know, it's
but would you agree that our system is pretty fucking awesome?
Listen, with all the shit I talk about, it's still the greatest place on earth to live.
Goddamn best place ever.
God bless America.
God, America.
Right? I mean, people are fighting to get into this country. This is the only country there's lines and people fighting to get in.
Yeah.
This is the only country. So, I mean, all the shit that's been talked about us, I mean, we have our problems, though. I mean, the rest of the world could see it. You know what's funny? All countries know about other countries and their lies, and then they don't realize their own lies in their country. You know what I'm saying? Like Russians. Right. The Russians love, I don't know if whatever, apparently Putin's number has never been higher.
Oh,
he still love, and you couldn't only imagine the propaganda.
He also controls all of the news.
Well, so is our news, though. Our news is controlled.
Nah, but not really.
It is.
Not
what do you
really.
mean?
Because we're talking shit about like fucking CNN and Fox News. You know what I mean? Like we talk shit about the politicians, but if you're in fucking Russia and you're talking shit about Putin, he might fucking show up at your house and fucking slit your dick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And the Russians think that our government does nothing but lie to us. So it's funny how
they do.
They do 100%. They do.
They do. Yeah, but we do have certain outlets outside of like the mainstream.
Yeah, but they hide it. Like the whole vaccine shit. Like you only heard one side of the story. Right. Only on TV. That's what I'm saying. They control the fucking narrative. They control the way subject matters are presented to the public.
No one even knows where Fauci is.
Dude got the Sexiest Man Alive award. Did you know that?
Bro.
What?
Bro. Sexiest man alive.
And that was probably, I bet you, the pharmaceutical companies were like, hey, keep pushing this fucking vaccines and shit, and we'll give you something. Like, that's a part of it. That's how I think. What happened here? Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording here. We could still play it through.
Anyways, we'll come to our closing thoughts soon, but
anyway, yeah, go ahead and finish up.
No, I was just saying, I think that was a part of his like, hey, do this for us, and we'll make you look. Because in the book, The Real Anthony Fauci, which is written by Robert Kennedy, which is a highly suggest. He's even since the 80s, he's been like trying to be a really popular. He wants to be like a famous scientist or whatever.
Oh, right.
So he always wanted to be in the fame and the limelight. He wanted to be a celebrity in that regard. So we'll make you the sexiest man alive. You know, it's like, well, that's one of the trade-offs. It's like, do this shit for us. Keep going in there, telling everybody XYZ, and then we'll give you this.
Simple, and sweet. We don't know shit.
Right?
Don't think that you know.
Nah.
Because you don't have all the truth. And the simple fact is that we're going to die. And even though we're trying to spread what we know as false information, they're going to publish that Fauci in 2022 was the sexiest man alive. And
right. That's in record.
Yeah, that's the record. That's the record that's going to be showed.
Right.
Not fucking what we're talking about or any of the other stream of media that isn't Maine.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Give us a thumbs up. Fucking nobody comments subscribe, on our shit. What the fuck?
Share the fucking video.
I wonder, okay, so it says we get like 50 views. How long do they have to watch before we consider it a view? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's got to be an X amount of time. 30 seconds,
yeah. So
an hour,
in the algorithm, in the on the YouTube page, I'm able to see how many minutes.
Oh, before. Yeah. I was going to say, we got to look at that breakdown.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we're losing people at a certain time and we got to do something different. Like, fuck it.
Yeah, but if it's recorded as a watch, they watched.
Yeah.
And even if it's a minute.
Yeah, we got a few people who probably listen to this from start to finish, and we appreciate you. We love you guys.
Yeah, for sure. All my guys out there that text me and they're like, "Where the fuck is it?"
Here it is, bitch.
Dude, love you guys.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Peace.
Peace.